Hello, the lady Kezia here. There are times we know certain things, but then when we hear other people reminding us of those things, they become a wake-up call for us. Can we have a conversation? I hope you know that if you really want to own your life and live as a full agentic adult, you would have to move away from the sense of entitlement. The entitlement mentality is defined as a sense of deservingness or being owed a favor when little or nothing has been done to deserve special treatment. It's the "you owe me" attitude. Entitlement is a narcissistic personality trait. It's not known exactly how this mentality develops. It may be due to social factors like the environment you grew up in, the way your parents treated you, whether adults solved your problems for you growing up, or how you were treated by loved ones, significant others, superiors when you were growing up. Sometimes you see the way some parents treat their children, and all you can do is to wink and pass. If we do everything for our children, what will they do for themselves? If we don't allow these children to problem solve, who would we expect them to grow up to be? But some parents think because they suffered growing up, they don't want their children to suffer in any way. That's the way they want it. What much can you do? The environment you are raised in can affect you, how you see the world, and what you expect from people, and even the way you relate with people. It can often affect personal and professional relationships. A sense of entitlement can sometimes be symptoms of a personality disorder. These disorders affect how a person sees themselves as well as how they see others. Narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, borderline personality disorder are a few conditions that can contribute to a sense of entitlement. I know you would ask, how does entitled mentality affect relationship and mental health then? People with an entitlement mentality often see themselves as superior to others. It is no surprise that this way of thinking affects interpersonal relationships. That comes with a long-term damage. When you believe that you're entitled to better treatment than others, or that the rules don't apply to you, you are more likely to suffer in the long term. How? Given that you simply believe you aren't getting what you are owed, an entitlement mentality can therefore result in conflicts in relationships, unhappiness, disappointment, and depression. Your career might suffer too. Entitled people often interview well and can land roles, leadership roles, because of their supposedly confidence. However, they often lack team spirit and avoid problem solving in the workplace. Most of the decisions an entitled person makes are all self-serving. To them, it is what is it that is in for me? What is it that I'll benefit? Everything has to do with self-serving to them. This can quickly become apparent to other people around, those they work with, those they live with, and people would begin dealing with them or avoiding them. So it comes with a long-term damage. Entitlement is a cycle. Feeling entitled to something and someone, and the disappointment that follows when you don't get that attention from that person, when you don't get what you want, can reinforce the entitled behavior. This typically follows a vicious 3-step cycle. Number 1, when you're entitled, you are always vulnerable to the threats of unmet expectations. Number 2, When your expectations aren't met, it can lead to dissatisfaction and other emotions like anger and a sense of being cheated. And because you feel cheated, when you are distressed, you try to fix the situation by consoling yourself and thinking that yes, you push harder. This results in self-reassurance that you deserve everything you've ever wanted, which reinforces the same entitled behavior. An entitled person is like the one demanding special treatment, expecting other people to do things for them, not showing gratitude, and a need for constant admiration are a few characteristics of people with a sense of entitlement. Such behavior can stem from upbringing or personality disorders and can be devastating for relationships. A sense of entitlement is a personality trait based on the belief that someone deserves special treatment or recognition for something they didn't earn. People with this mindset believe that the world owes them without giving anything back in return. People with a sense of entitlement think they deserve special treatment. Their view is the world owes me. They expect to elevate their lifestyle above that of others without putting in the effort needed to do so. Entitled people feel like everybody else should do things for them because of who they are or how much money, power they have, or their relationship, their associations with you. They are so entitled because they think they deserve. If they have reached a certain level of success, they feel that everybody should bend over backward to help them when they need their services. They believe that it is your job to ensure that they have everything they need, even if that means you don't have the time to take care of your own responsibilities. As far as they are concerned, you should place your life on hold just because they need something from you. They need something you are capable of doing. Some entitled people secretly struggle with insecurity, and that's why we should also be patient with people. While the person with a sense of entitlement may come across as arrogant or confident, this can be a cover-up for underlying insecurity or fear of not having enough admiration, resources, or support. So you see them, as arrogant and as confident. It is just a cover-up for underlying insecurity and fear of not having enough admiration, resources, or support. This fear and insecurity can also appear alongside depression and self-isolation. And that's why we should be, although firm with people, we should also be kind. I'm here to give you some tips to help you overcome a sense of entitlement. Because, honey, you have no idea the peace of mind and serenity that comes when you move away from that sense of entitlement. It is not always easy, but it's possible for people with a sense of entitlement to overcome this feeling and adapt new behaviors in order to achieve this goal of being independent. If you want to be a full agentic adult living your life, then you have to move away from that sense of entitlement. Number 1, recognize the feeling of entitlement. Refuse to let it impact your life forever. If you have a hard time recognizing the feeling, you can think about other times that you wanted somebody to do you a favor just because you thought you are so close to that person, you are related, you are associated with that person, you have been at that place long enough, and because of that you deserve that. How you felt. Recognize that feeling. Anytime you are having the sense of entitlement, identify that feeling, recognize it, and do away with it. Number 2, understand that you are not entitled to anything, honey. This is so powerful. I wish everybody would marinate into this level of living where you think and feel and understand that you are not entitled to anything from anybody. It makes even the little help and support that you get from people, you appreciate it so much. Unfortunately, the world does not owe you and I anything. Life is unfair, yes, and it is your job to make the best of what you get in life. It is not for you to sit down and complain about what you think and feel you deserved, but you don't have. Number 3, give without expectations. Find ways to help others without expecting anything in return. How can you serve others without expecting anything in return? I know that's your question for me. Yes, it's possible. If you're not ready to run charity, don't do it, honey. If you are helping people with the expectation that they also help you back in return, very soon your soul will bleed. Simple. Volunteer your time and efforts. See it as something you are volunteering. If you are not ready to do charity, don't. Just like I said, if you think your services are not for free, have that needed conversation. And not just assume that people are supposed to know. No. In this world, nobody is supposed to know until you tell them. So if you're not helping people just for the happiness you get for helping people who are less fortunate than yourself, then don't do it. Nobody is forcing you to do it. If you are giving with expectations, then your soul will bleed because you'll be entitled to those people, thinking that because you have done A, B, C, D for them, they are supposed to do 1, 2, 3, 4 for you. And if you don't get those expectations met, your soul will bleed. I see a lot of people in ministry doing this, and I just wink and pass. All over the place doing things that they come back home and complain. And I'm like, who bewitched you? Because they want to be recognized, because of recognition, because they want everybody to see them as good, people pleasing. So they are all over the place. Listen, honey, the universe will always test what is in your heart. So if you are doing things just for people to clap for you, knowing that that is not your value, that is not who you are giving out of pain, don't do it. Give without expectations. Give because you love to give. Give because you want to help, support, assist others, not because you expect them to be your slave, such that they won't own their lives. They are supposed to kowtow to your whims and caprices just because you have done one good for them. Number 4, distinguish between needs and wants. Learn the difference between needs and wants. People with a sense of entitlement have a problem distinguishing between needs and wants. This makes it very difficult to make healthy and sound decisions since you constantly want more than you need. If you're able to distinguish between your needs and wants, you realize there are some things they are just want. If you don't get them, nobody's going to die. And because of that, you don't struggle through life. It doesn't mean you accept mediocrity, no. But you don't struggle through life just wanting everything. Instead, focus on what you truly need in life and cut out what you simply want. Number 5, focus on things you can control. Focus on what is in your control rather than what is not. You can only control your thoughts, feelings, and actions and responses. You can't control how somebody else feels even about you and their responses. Stop focusing on what other people are doing or how they are responding to situations. Instead, focus on changing the things that you have some influence over in your life. Number 6, cultivate gratitude. Practice gratitude for everything good in your life, no matter how small or insignificant it might seem at the time. Consider everything you have in your life right now. Your home, your family, your friends, your good health, your peace of mind. Take a moment to be grateful for everything that you have and realize that there are lots of people out there who would trade places with you. Number 7, think of others. Think about how your sense of entitlement is affecting other people in your life. How have other people been affected by your sense of entitlement? Have you unintentionally made these people feel guilty or resentful because they didn't live up to your expectations? If so, remember that other people have their own lives to live too. Many a time it's simply because some people don't share their stories. If they could open up and share their stories with you, you realize that the people you need help from, many of them need help the more. They have lives to live too. A person's actions toward you aren't necessarily directly tied to how you mean to them. At a particular time, they can help you, but not always. Think about other people. If you were on the giving side and everybody around you is constantly coming to you too, how would you have felt? How would you feel? How would your life be? Think of other people. Number 8, show yourself kindness. Take care of yourself and be kind to yourself, because nobody else will do it for you. It might seem counterintuitive, but one way out of self-entitlement is to be kinder to yourself. When you are feeling entitled, it can be difficult or impossible for you to take care of your own needs. You might fall into a place of self-neglect because you're expecting it from somebody. Oh, he's supposed to do A. She's supposed to do B. What about what you can do for yourself? So you are waiting for other people's actions, other people's givings for you to live your life. No, even in your scarcity and little, let the universe see and recognize that you want to take care of yourself. You are responsible for you. So your brain will be able to help you acquire ideas and acquire the capacity you need to be able to take care of yourself. Number 9, practice the golden rule. Practice treating others as you would like to be treated. Regardless of our social status, we are all humans. So the things you need, other people need them too. The services you need, other people need them too. And supposing those people you need this from are supposed to cater for all the people around them, including you, what will happen to them? The golden rule. Do unto others what you want them to do unto you. It's likely they can serve and service everybody, including you, at a particular time. Number 10, recognize that not all situations are unfair. If you are in a situation you think is unfair, honey, pause for a minute and think about a greater good. Is it just right because we are paying school fees, we are supposed to come out with flying colors, good grades? Even if you don't put in the work by studying, just because we paid school fees, we are supposed to earn good grades. How would the world have been to walk into a medical facility and know that the medical doctor there didn't qualify for his position? His specialty was just awarded to him just because he went to medical school and paid school fees. Even all the things he was supposed to have failed, he got, credited for. Would you be confident enough to be in the hands of such a medical doctor? Why would you think such a situation is unfair when people pay school fees and still they fail because they didn't put in the work? It is because you're on the receiving end. Consider getting a promotion just because you have worked at a place long enough without necessarily contributing anything to that company. Would that be fair? If that business, if that ministry, if that company, if that business was yours, will you be comfortable giving people higher remunerations just because they've been there long enough without their contribution? You see, you consider it unfair because you're on the receiving end. If you were to be on the giving end, you won't see it as unfair. Number 11, respect. Use respect and kindness when interacting with others. Everyone is a human being with feelings and struggles of their own. You have no idea what people are going through. So forcing them, demanding things from them is breaking them apart, and yet they can own their confidence enough, their truth enough, and reject you because of their personality also. This has to do with the people who have this kind of mindset that because they know you, because they are with you, because you know people, because you went to the same school with people, because you are working at the same place, you are living the community with people, the people own your life, and they are supposed to make sure that your life is in order. To those of you also who have these people in your life, who have now become a border, that you are finding it's even uncomfortable to breathe around them, this is how to deal with the entitled people in your life. It can be challenging to deal with people who seem entitled and selfish. Such relationships can create stress and wear on your own sense of self-worth. I'm giving you some steps also to take. Just like I said, adapt and adopt what resonates with you, because you're supposed to live for your own good. Number 1, establish boundaries. Clearly explain your boundaries and then call out people if they violate them. Let them know that the behavior is unacceptable and that you will not be able to engage until they adopt a less harmful attitude. You have your life to live too. Number 2, practice saying no. If someone is making excessive, unrealistic demands, don't be afraid to say no, honey. Set limits on what you are willing to accept and be willing to deny their request if they are asking for too much. You have your life to live also. Number 3, encourage them to problem solve. If someone demands that you solve their problems, encourage them to seek solutions independently. You might do by saying this: I'm not able to do that, but let's think of what might help you do this. Or you can equally tell them, you think you are not capable of helping yourself in this situation, but if you knew what to do, if you had the right answers, what would those answers be? Encourage them to problem solve. Encouraging people to look for ways to help themselves. To help themselves can foster greater self-sufficiency. It makes a relationship thrive because there's growth and maturity. Remember, making any sorts of change isn't always an easy journey, but it is one that will be worth it. If you're having trouble navigating these changes on your own, consider reaching out to a mental health professional for guidance. They can help you discover the roots of issues that have led to this sense of entitlement. It's essential, it's very necessary to understand that seeking help from a professional, not those people who parade themselves as counselors out there without any kind of training, seeking help from a professional therapist or a professional counselor, a mental health advocate, a mental health worker isn't a sign of weakness, but instead is a sign that you identify a need to change and that you wish to improve your life and relationship with others for the better. I see those people as the strongest, not the weak or the weakest. Over time, sweetie, you can learn ways to address issues of entitlement and how to live a healthy and a balanced life. If you find you have a sense of entitlement, there are ways to change your mindset. Everything in this life is explained from the points of our view. Our mindset, which forms and shapes our paradigms. When there's a shift in our paradigms, our whole being changes. Practice gratitude and humility. That can equally help you become more responsible and considerate. And in so doing, you own your life and the process. That you live for yourself. That everything you do be basically because you are living for yourself. I'm not saying don't help other people, but you won't depend on anybody. So anything anybody will do for you would become a bonus. And it makes your relationship beautiful because you don't put unnecessary pressure on other people to live your life for you. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so yet. Hit on the notification bell and select all, so anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. Kindly share, like, and comment. Let me also hear your views about this. Let's learn from one another. Much love and blessings.